And welcome back, everyone, to round 2, back 9 of the Hall of Fame Classic, presented by Proactive Sports Disc Golf. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Smashbox's own Johnny V. We're heading to the back 9 with McBeth on the tee. Do you think he can pick it up in this back 9?
He usually does. I mean, that's what Paul does.
Well,
He
Paul
tends to.
he didn't have the opening round that we would expect out of him, being a few off the pace. We see the rest of the card that he's joined by Peter McBride playing pretty consistent throughout the round.
All these guys, other than Douglas, unfortunately, are sitting right around 2 to 3 under par.
And this is Grady Shue of Team Disc Mania. Hole 1 actually plays parallel to hole number 10. So these two holes are somewhat similar in that they have a long opening shot that you really need to get to a landing zone, and then you have a long approach shot for your second shot.
Looks like Douglas turned this one over a little bit. He's hoping for a kickoff to the left. He ends up in the shul, as they might say.
And at this point, you could really just take a disc and play from it, and it would look just like you're on hole 1. These holes are so similar in the first and second shots.
Good shot.
Hole 10, however, is a par 5 with a little bit more length. McBeth is going to get pretty aggressive here. Go with a roller shot.
See how that ends
how
up
far
for
that
him.
pushes up the fairway for him.
McBride opts not to throw a roller and just kind of hyzers out at the end.
And Douglas, who's found his fair share of fairways, or lack thereof, I guess, is
This actually isn't a
share.
bad position for where he was. He just needs to throw up a little turnover, end up right next to the basket.
Should be able to easily complete from there. Grady
Another
with
nice
a
approach.
solid approach there. As you can see, we're just one hole in, and we've seen rollers, we've seen backhands, we've seen forehands, we've seen forehand rollers. Here's McBeth for a long putt. We've seen just about every combination.
Yeah, for an eagle. I mean, I told you he was going to start to get it moving.
Yeah, there you go. A long-range putt by McBeth. Let's see if that jump starts his back 9.
Paul's had a few good rounds out here on this course in his history.
See if he can get things going. We're going to move on to hole 11 after the McBride birdie. One eagle, a couple birdies and a par. We're moving over to what's called Turkey Gulch. 3 very short holes in a row, all with plenty of danger in OB.
All of which you feel like you need to get, because this course is going to take away strokes in a lot of other places.
There's OB behind the basket here on hole number 11. It's also down and to the left with a really errant shot. And next time you see this course on video, I think you're going to see these 3 holes completely removed or at least significantly altered by the next time a tournament rolls into town here.
Nice shot.
That's a tough approach with that hill behind you.
It leads all the way down, just filters down to an OB creek, and that's why you see Douglas laying up there. That's the smart move.
Yeah, and really, unless you're that position where you're not throwing it down the hill, that's a really tough putt to make.
McBride and McBeth both with birdies. That's a good start here to Turkey Gulch. Like you said, if you can come out at least 2 under off these 3 holes, you're going to be in good position. And a couple of tap-ins. You're going to move over to 12 with plenty of OB. So 240 feet now, just 216 feet.
But tight.
Get through it.
You really need to hit that line.
There's an OB creek to the right side, which McBeth
Gets the
throws.
green flag.
Gets the green flag. You could throw that shot 10 more times, and about 4 of them would probably go OB. It's really that touchy.
He barely missed that tree and almost put it in the basket.
Stockpile of stuff.
And he gets the
Alright.
confirmation that could easily get up and roll. It looks like it sat for him down by the green.
Ooh, good tip.
That's a nice placement right there.
Oh, roll towards the
Oh!
Look at you talking too much.
I niced him?
You
He's
did.
getting the red
Your
flag.
nice placement, Tim.
Sorry.
Spotter gives this flag to this hole.
I asked
Oh,
him.
no.
I asked him, he's like, "Oh, I thought
Douglas went a little deep, I think, but he stays in bounds.
So you've got to deal with your footing, you've got to deal with the tree, and putting uphill just slightly.
And the band on the top of the basket.
That's going to be a bogey for Grady. There's a Hannah Croak sighting. And McBeth with
Yeah, that's pretty close, I think I heard him say.
a...
Douglas was closer than I thought.
So in order to conserve a little battery, we just decided to skip hole 13. Everybody got twos.
They all birdied it. I mean,
8 quick
really.
throws.
Oh. That is not going to leave Paul in a very good spot. Kicking way off to the left there when you really want to be able to bend it to the right. You're adding a lot of distance, and it's not easy distance.
And McBride not quite clean all the way. I do want to thank Matthew, who's out here hustling around, helping give the bonus footage for the Disc Golf Guys channel. A little snafu, actually, on 13 with the camera and whatnot. Like I said, everybody birdied. And we've got the rest here for you. Grady Shue, that's a good-looking turn. How
Those
much will it push forward?
Yeah, those last two shots were both gorgeous. Now, Paul going to have to fight through the trees to get into the fairway and then down the fairway, and he can't quite get all the way down there as far as he wants.
Not a bad recovery, and we'll see if Peter can bend it around the corner. You want to get up and over the hill, and then it plays down from there. And McBeth just
Is he
trying
going to the Lumberjack Open?
Ouch. You jerk. He's hitting trees. There are plenty out here at the W.R. Jackson course. This is out in Appling, Georgia at the International Disc Golf Center. Wildwood Park.
Paul asking for it to flip, begging for it to flip.
We see Grady Shue is so effortless. He goes backhand, forehand, backhand,
What a
forehand,
smooth player.
and tries to make it. He does make it look very easy as McBride finds one of the trees between him and the pin. What was that? Paul Ulibarri's step putt?
I wasn't sure at first. It was some Paul's step putt. You don't see Paul McBeth do that very often.
Yeah, the footing must have been just so. That was a very Yuli-like step putt.
Here's Douglas. Ouch. He ran hard at that, and he's going to pay the price.
He's got an uphill putt. Let's see if he can make the comebacker, and he does.
Very fortunate.
And McBeth has been struggling here. Hole 14, not his friend. It does not get any easier, as you're about to see. Let's move on to the narrow 15. Beth giving one back to the course there. We're moving on to 15, 540 feet, a very narrow landing zone. And
Grady
then you play
with a
uphill.
Great flip up. Just catches a tree at the end. Going OB. That looked like such a nice turn on that.
And a good gentle turn.
This is what you want to do to play safe. Just get it to flip right away and keep bending. That's flirting with a lot of danger.
Yeah, that left side is not where you want to be. You can see there's an OB creek over there.
Paul really needs to do something to get this round going. After that eagle, he just kind of has been chunking his way through.
He did pick up a few birdies. He has the hot score right now, but a previous hole not treating him too well on hole 14. And McBride has a standstill forehand, trying to find a way to still save the par. What a great recovery shot.
Yeah, that's difficult getting that much power on a forehand because it could easily hit edge and roll.
And Douglas was in pretty good position. You've got to worry about the foot placement as you're somewhat going downhill. When you're standing downhill, that is. And there's the edge you just spoke of a moment ago when you're standing with a standstill and throwing that forehand uphill.
Yeah, you really need the disc to come down flat or even coming out of its hyzer or its anhyzer.
What a solid run. Trying to get the birdie the hard way.
Not a great effort. I ain't gonna lie.
And McBride can save the par with a long it's so close. In and out for Peter McBride.
These guys have the basket surrounded, but it wasn't pretty.
And McBeth is able to recover from that left side fairway, still walk away with a birdie. Moving day out here. This is round 2 at the Hall of Fame Classic presented by Proactive Sports Disc Golf. Moving on to 16. And at under 300 feet, I think you're going to see a lot of forehands and probably some ace runs. This is a good hole to get.
Not a heck of a lot of danger on this hole. You just need to hit the fairway with a forehand.
You really do. Let gravity do the work. Dare I say, if I were to actually attempt a forehand at a tournament, this might be one of the holes because
I'd love to see it.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying it'd be good, but this is the kind of hole where, like you said, you hit that fairway and then you just let the disc drop to the ground. And McBride going with a turnover putter shot, and I like it.
I love it. But that's the problem when you throw a turnover. You run the risk of hitting on edge and rolling away like that. That's why all those guys threw forehands.
Grady just a few inches short. As you see, there's no wind whatsoever by the flag. It's been a very calm weekend out here.
Doesn't matter, uphill. After that little rollout, still hitting the birdie.
And anytime you walk away with a par here on 16, you feel like you've definitely let one get by. McBeth for the easy cleanup. 17 and 18 are monsters. Let's head over. And look at that little gap there, Johnny.
I'm still looking. I don't see much of a gap there.
It's a tiny one, and you need to hit it. That is a mandatory. So you have to go left of that yellow arrow that you see.
So you really want to kind of almost flex this one out, get a little bit of a turn, and have it finish.
Yeah.
Or if you can just throw one perfectly straight like that.
Yeah, you want to do what Peter just did. That is, that little roll even, that is just about perfect.
Nice.
And that's got a good looking turn to it. It's going to fade.
It's got a pretty decent amount of distance.
Yep, almost the exact same height we saw from McBride.
That's not the placement golf you want.
Yeah, he got lucky by finding the fairway still. That could have kicked much worse, so he's going to have to see if he can recover. This is uphill, and then it carries at least 150 feet after you get to the top of the hill. And McBeth, if he stays clean, he may have a long look at a birdie putt from there.
Everybody else is trying to turn him over, and Douglas just couldn't seem to get it with that footing. This is tough with all the loose footing you have, and a lot. It's not really even.
As you're standing uphill, you got to worry about your arm speed, your arm angle, the disc angle. Lots of things to be concerned with here, and that's a long run that catches top band. And McBeth did make it all the way through. This is a look at birdie.
Looks like it's about 40 to 50 feet.
Solid putt by McBride. That is a great 3 all day. If you birdied this hole, you definitely threw 2 great shots.
Wow. You don't see that very often out of Grady.
He's been struggling a little bit here today. We'll see if he can pick it up for his 3rd and final round, which takes place right here on the Jackson course. And Peter doesn't care about pars. He's got all birdies and bogeys here on the back.
He doesn't need them.
After starting out with almost nothing but pars on the front.
With that drive, it looks like the streak might continue.
Peter getting things going. Hole 18, par 5, 726 feet. And that is about as good as you could ask for. Just barely getting past Peters. 2 great drives.
Douglas threading the needle between those trees, only ends up a few feet short of the other guys.
Getting skinny, as they say. I don't get to say that, but and that's a good-looking shot. So as you guys are trying to round out their afternoon here on Saturday, a couple of really good-looking shots to tee off on 18. And this hole is very eagle-able, if that's in fact a phrase.
All these guys trying to flex a disc and yet have it finish.
I thought Paul was taking off for a marathon there. Looks like he's just checking out where he wants to be. And again, that is almost perfect. He knows he had a perfect tee shot, and then just
blew it on the approach. He caught that double tree right there, and he needed to get around it. Where's Douglas?
just down underneath, and he's got a pitch back out. He's going to play out and around. Let's see if he can get it up by the pin. Douglas is ready to call it a day.
Yeah, he's chipping away at the end of this hole.
Good shot.
That is a
flex.
great approach for a tap in there.
This is a long eagle attempt by McBeth, and what a run still.
The fact that he can still run an eagle at this after that approach is pretty amazing. Ah, poor Douglas. Can't buy a break.
Solid.
That's an eagle right there.
Well, as we wrap up this second round, just one to play. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Johnny V and Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Matt, kicking it from Country Disc Golf. We'll see you guys during the final round.